Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Reality Right After. I am your host, Wellington Gomez. And today, we have a very special episode today. We have a full house. Oh, my God. Help me welcome, of course, my executive producer. Hi, Ricky.
Hi, Wellington. Although you just tried to gag us a second ago. Hey, Bookie.
And, of course, 2 weeks in a row. Hi, Thomas.
What's going on, gang? How y'all doing?
Good.
And you already know, friend of the brand, she's been here since the fucking beginning, child. Hi, Kaidian.
Hi.
We're here to talk about all things housewives and moment of silence for my mother, Karen. As we get into this first segment, because honey, yep, throw it up, Thomas.
That's a Jagger.
Pull some out for the homie.
Mother is down.
Mother's down.
Karen Huger has been found guilty driving under the influence, driving while impaired, reckless driving, failing to control speed to avoid collision, driving with suspended registration, failure to notify of an address change, and so on and so on. She has been found guilty, and her defense clearly was not able to create an argument to show the jury that Karen was, in fact, not responsible for this crash. She's set to be sentenced on January 29th.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, social media went up. This is kind of like unprecedented when it comes to the Real Housewives of Potomac. And while we joke a lot about housewives going to jail, like, who would have thought that we would have been here with Karen? I want to open up the floor to just get first reactions of when you find out the news broke on the Reality Rundown. Thomas.
Clankety clank, clankety clank. The bar soap. You might want to help your husband. Was my initial thought when this came through my pipeline on social media. It is a crazy turn of events for something like this to happen to Karen Huger. If we all remember from season 1, when this show was supposed to be Potomac Ensemble, it was all about etiquette. And I don't know if season 1 Karen is very happy with season 9 Karen, and if she ever thought that she would be in this position. And it's super unfortunate. And even just the denial and how she chose to approach the case itself, really holding on to her innocence, knowing that she was in this state of mind. I'm not sure if anyone has saw the videos, but I would implore you to go and watch that.
We will watch them later on.
Yeah, it's sad. And I am beyond a housewife. I just want to make sure that she personally is okay and that she's able to pursue, just the things that she needs mentally to be able to be in a positive place. I just want to draw a parallel between her situation and Shannon Bedore's and RHOC. I think what we saw with Shannon in Orange County is like an immediate ownership and accountability that was taken towards her actions and how she felt as if that was something that was truly wrong, or she learned from it. And we kind of see the opposite with Karen and how she kind of really staking her claim as being innocent or using her parents' death as the motivation for why she drank so much. And so I hope to see something play out in her favor, but right now it's not really looking too good for the Grand Dame.
Right. Ricky, what were your thoughts when you saw this news break?
That's my mom and I'm gonna stick beside her. But no, I had a couple of things in my mind. I just feel like when you set yourself up as a person who's of the upper echelon and so classy, and as Mariah famously said, doesn't step off her chariot to throw tomatoes with the common folk, it's hard for you to admit fault when you feel like you've postured yourself in this way. So it's like, I think Karen's so caught up in this image that she has that it kind of worked to her detriment. So, but I'm glad she's okay. I'm glad nobody got hurt. And I don't think this is career ending. I don't think her career is over. I don't think she's a bad person. I just think she made a bad decision. And immediately hoping that maybe we'll see some accountability at the reunion. and hopefully she stays out of prison.
Honestly, because oh my god, I am so sorry because this is just so awkward. It's so funny at the same time. Like the whole situation, like this Housewives universe is just too much sometimes that I just cannot even take it. And the roller coasters that these characters take us as viewers is sometimes like beyond the television, clearly, you know, because this is not even playing out currently on Potomac, and we're living a whole other like storyline in this realm of our world. But Kaidian, I wanted to get your reaction once you heard about the news that the Grand Dame was found guilty.
Y'all know I was so disappointed. I hate that this occurred. I hate that she doesn't realize the severity of what has happened. And I will also say the same thing for Shannon as well. I think, well, I'll say this too. Happy nobody got hurt at all. The car is replaceable. And I just hope moving forward, Karen can understand that she can take an Uber. Shannon, understand you can take an Uber. And know that this is not worth risking, because this is Karen's second time allegedly. And we've seen how much both women have gone through on their shows, and it's just like, step back for a second. We all know you're both grown and no one can check y'all, but step back for a second and realize how lucky they both are to still be alive and not hurt anybody. And you also said something that's important too, that it's like the character they play on the show, which is also themselves, and then the one outside of when the cameras are down. And that just makes me realize they're humans, they make mistakes, and they also make choices. And with that being said, you got to make the right choices when it comes on to drinking and driving. Don't do it.
Right. Well, Karen's defense team attempted to have the case dismissed, arguing that the evidence was obtained through an illegal search and seizure, and she incriminated herself without Miranda rights. However, a judge denied this motion, stating her statements were not from a custodial interrogation, but actually made while she was getting treatment from EMS. And so they were able to use all of these things in the court. Her trial took place over several days. In December, witnesses, including an EMT and a security guard, described her condition post-crash, noting signs of intoxication, like swaying, slurred speech, and of course, smelled like alcohol. We have some of the videos. Fox 5 DC actually put out some of the videos from the arrest and the body camera, the police body cam footage. And yeah, this is a lot. Like, no shade. Like, it was a lot to see Karen in this state. You guys can go to the reality rundown to see everything.
How much we had to drink though? That's my question.
Not yet.
Bull's probably already put one on. He's right.
They're trying to get the documentation together. They're asking Karen to find her registration, which we know is suspended.
Somebody have the license? I think so. Oh, you think so?
Yeah,
Karen is Ray's like, someone has your license?
Okay.
Thank God that Ray came out to help Karen out.
Karen, how much are you drinking?
Talk to my husband.
Okay, can I talk with?
Yeah.
I can't talk to your husband. He's not really involved in this incident. He can help me translate or get you to cooperate. Okay.
I'm here.
I would rather her not do a lot of talking because she's probably a little bit upset. I'm just saying those things.
The Black Bill Gates. I'd rather not do a lot of talking. Let's wait for the lawyers to get
I'm
involved.
assuming that you had like a couple of beers.
We coming from Bradley?
Yeah,
You had a couple of beers.
that's my assumption.
From Bradley.
I don't know.
So
I wasn't
remember the
with her.
accident. Okay,
But
I know. That's why I'm trying to communicate with her.
Yeah. Yes.
What kind of beer did you drink?
Actually, nothing really. Very good.
They're trying to get the beer out of her. What type of beer did you drink?
Somebody got it? The fence was right there.
Yeah. I got here in an accident.
Okay. I'm saying that you probably had
Ooh, this is when Ray incriminates her. I'm saying you probably had a little bit too much drinking.
Hit the center median, came across the median, and then hit this tree as well.
I'm sure that didn't play out good in court.
the tree.
Yeah. I think
Can you speak to me, please?
Hey, your car's on fire. Your car's on fire. Get away from your car. Okay. I can't talk to you. It's not really involved in this incident.
That's a lot. That's a lot. That's one of the first videos that we're gonna get to. Clearly, she's drunk. She's had several drinks, allegedly. I don't know the number. She says that she's coming from a friend's house. Ray doesn't seem to know where the documents are, so clearly the car is a mess. The car is totaled in the back. Karen is slurring her speech, not really coherent, looking around, cannot really. You can tell that she's really under the influence and fucked up. At this point, just seeing this, we've already seen what has circulated on social media, but just with this video that we currently covered, she's guilty. Just with this one. Any reactions before we get into the other video?
Honestly, it was tore up, but we don't have to talk to the police. Like, she didn't. I would have just said, I'm not answering no questions.
And I feel like that's why Ray was trying to get to that. You know, go ahead, Kaidian.
I think that's why the cop kept on asking her those air quotes paparazzi questions to get her to say what she was doing, to admit to being drunk, because didn't it state that she declined taking the sobriety test?
Yes.
Karen should have just not said a word.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Ray should have not said a word.
I know. I think he was trying to do his best at this point.
I have a question. Did she call him before the police, or did the police call him? Like, how did Ray get there?
That's questions that probably came out in court, and questions that we have as well. How did Ray get there? I mean, Karen has been a lifeline to Ray in so many ways, and she has always reminded us this on the Real Housewives of Potomac. But I think this solidifies, like, Ray, he's loyal. He is solidifying himself as one of the, Greg Leaks, holding his wife, his queen down through it all. Thank God that Karen has Ray, and that Ray was able to come to her defense. Right after this, we have the video. Oh my God, we have the video of when Karen is in the police car.
Can I have a tissue on my hand?
I don't have a tissue, ma'am.
Oh my
I do not carry tissues in my police car. But there will be. I will get you tissues.
No, I don't need it. I'm not going to be there very long, but I thank you for tonight. This has been good for my marriage, though.
Okay.
Do you know my husband?
I do not know your husband.
No, my husband has never stood up.
What?
I'm married 28 years. I think he died. Oh, this is the most stunning thing I've ever done. I hear him. I should have probably taken a cab.
You probably should have taken a cab, yes.
Thank you.
Or an Uber.
But I'm very rich.
Don't forget it.
And sometimes they don't pay attention to you. Are you married?
I am.
You gonna say married?
What's that?
You love her?
Yes.
You love her?
I'm powerful of it. When you Google me, you're gonna be so ashamed of yourself. I'm bad as fuck. I don't think I did anything bad except the driver.
Are you in the door?
I just breathe. I have to bleed in my nose too in a minute.
I don't think I did anything bad by the driving.
Bleed. Can you give me a tissue?
I don't have tissues in my police come in. We will be at the station.
No, I'm a slave owner's daughter. I just bought my slave.
I hope he's not letting Karen drool on herself and snot and stuff. Give the grandma a tissue.
That girl is locked up.
Can I have a tissue? I don't have.
So we get there.
You know I hate you, right?
You know I hate you, right?
Wait. Can you take this off?
I can't take the handcuffs off. We got to go inside.
Everybody's gonna hate you, by the way. Do you know who I am?
I don't.
Do you know who I am?
No.
Let me help you up.
No, I do not. Oh God, I'm lit.
Yes, you are lit.
Oh, can you?
That's why you're here.
No, not really, darling.
It is. Hold on, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I don't want you to fall like you just did.
I just got.
I know, because you're drunk. Let's go this way, ma'am. Do I know who you are? No. You've asked me to watch the step. Thank you.
And I'm walking up the street.
I will not be able to cover this on television.
He's good. And I'll walk up the stairs. And I'm not.
Careful.
Just having a night.
Careful.
We're good.
Okay. I just stand right here for a second. What's that? Come inside.
Alex, right?
Karen?
Yeah. Thank you.
Whoa. You know who I am? She opens the door. He opens the door.
I do not.
Why
was he trying to read her auntie? He was
He opens the door and she goes, "You know I hate you, right?"
Connor had the perfect rebuttal.
She's reading down. He grabs her out of the car. She's like, ah. She screams a little bit. She's like, "Fuck, I'm lit." And he goes, "Yeah, you're lit. You're drunk." I'm like, what is going on?
And that's the thing. It's so tragic, but there's so many iconic lines.
No,
and you can't help but to find humor in it. And I think it's only because no one got hurt. But still, it's like, why did you do that?
Right. And
she's just wig was pushed by.
Oh my God. The wig was still in the crime scene while she was giving her statement. Miss Karen is Miss Karen through and through, though, which is what makes this so hilarious, because this is the same type of behavior that we see from her when she turns up on Potomac. You know what I'm saying? Or when she lets loose on Potomac. So it's just hilarious that she's really hurt. Do you know who I am? You're trying to get me out of this car like I am just anybody. Clearly, I am somebody. I'm riding in the front and not in the back.
That's another thing.
Did we clock that? How do we get in the front, Karen?
Oh, Jesus.
For me, it was incredibly a little hard to watch both videos, just watching her in that state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it also, oddly enough, made me hearken back to a moment of Real Housewives of Potomac when she seemed to be as drunk as she was then.
We remember that.
In the time when this was, I guess, like an off-camera moment where her, Monique, and Candace were actually sitting down and she was talking to them about Ray, oddly enough. And I remember them flashing back to that moment. They were in a basement and it was just the three of them. After the group had gotten together, they were having a conversation. And to me, her demeanor seems as if like she gets drunk like this often, that this isn't a one-time occurrence. And whether the driving was a component of this particular situation, but in her prior instances, like she gets drunk like this often. It didn't seem like Ray was in a panic with him trying to, assist her either. With Ray being of old age too, I just hope that didn't do too much to his heart, because that's scary, especially with the age of which like police brutality and stuff like that. It's just really nerve-wracking to get a call that your wife has been in an accident, and then that you get there and you find out she's not cooperating, and then it's like when now you get to the scene and then it becomes worse than you probably would have imagined. Like I can only imagine what was going through his mind at the time. And so to see, like, just to bring it full circle, to see her kind of like talk about Ray and the institution over the years, and much like he had one scandal that she needed to pay a little of her coins to help them get out of. And you would think that he just never took care of her for the majority of their lives together. And so I think that Ray is to be championed in this moment. I think your earlier point to him going down as one of the house husbands to support their Real Housewife and moments of controversy, but also still be able to be real and to have a sense of realism surrounding the conversation, I think is admirable for him. And me watching that back a little bit too, I had a moment of flashing back to when her wig was doing its own thing and they were trying to fix it at the picnic table, and I just kind of wanted to shift it for her a little bit, because I know when she watched those tapes back, like out of everything, I'm pretty sure that gagged her the most was watching the way that her merged.
And if we ever get a reaction from her on these videos, I think that's what she will talk about.
Oh yeah,
to humanize.
Her whole heritage was showing, literally.
So they finally get her in.
No, this is such a fucking weird. Poor white. Just let that chick go. You want to listen? I wouldn't do it. I will rise up. I am who I am. So what do you want to ask me? Can we? I don't give a fuck. Do you want that black people?
I'm not asking
you. Do you want that black people?
Karen, I'm not asking.
No, I'm really rich. And I will stay in jail for a year or two. Because you just want that
what?
Poor white, black, green people. You want that black people?
It has nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah, it does. It has everything. So what's your point?
It has zero to do with that. I don't
so, I'm sorry.
This happens.
All right, it's not you. I'm sorry. I'm extremely sorry. I am Thomas Justice's concubine. And I don't have the name of your point is what? No, what you need to do is tell me what you want.
All I need you to do is listen and talk what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate that. Could you not? No. This is such a fucking.
So, yeah. Thomas Jefferson's concubine. Where we get that from?
Where she really was with blue eyes? Yo, Karen, like, why was she reading the people? She said, I just want to let you know that, like, I might be going to jail, but you're poor and white.
How? Why?
And it's just so problematic, but yet, like, you have to laugh.
Oh, put it in the Museum of Pop Culture. Like, this is like, no shade. What has made some of the biggest stars, their most crazy down moments? Either getting involved with the police, something of a nude or revenge porn being posted, someone cheats on someone, or something very salacious, something that it's like the breaking point of someone's celebrity. It's truly how they come out in stardom. So I think that, I'm not saying that there's a good thing to this, but one of the resounding things that I've seen from social media is that Karen is cared for by a lot of people. And a lot of people, while they're shocked and they're gagged and gooped and they're, some people are celebrating this, some people are really hurt by this, some people are really sad by this. There's a resounding, impact from Karen Huger's current state in pop culture. And I think that's crazy because as a Real Housewife, like Karen Huger, Surrey County, she has really made a mark in everybody's heart when it comes to, if you know the Real Housewives universe, and you care for Karen no matter what you do. And I think that, like Thomas said, it's sad to see her in this state. It's sad to see her go down like this. TMC was reporting that Bravo is suggesting her to get her act together or her position on the show is in jeopardy. I wanted to get your reaction on this. What do you think about this, Thomas?
Well, I think that that's a false report. I think that it is someone trying to make the moment more salacious than it is. Obviously, we know that they're in an off season right now as far as filming is concerned. And so decisions as far as casting is a peak interest to fans. And so to be able to add a piece of the story to this to make it seem as bigger than what it is, I think it's the goal for that particular publication. I think that this will be a gold mine for Bravo and for the production company to be able to have her not only just answer for this at the reunion, but to have this play out in the landmark 10th season of the Real Housewives of Potomac. So I don't know if her position will be in jeopardy because of this. I think how she handles it now that the video footage has come out, now that the verdict has been rendered, how does Karen Huger proceed now? And I think that is what we should look to, is what her behavior looks like. And also just want to say that I hate that she gave the haters something to go on. For years, they have been just trying to get Karen with something, and it has all fallen flat. And now you have to stand on this one, and you have to fall on this sword. And I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they brought Charisse back. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Robin back in the fold. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the Housewives of old for Potomac come back to see how this could trigger the Grand Dame into her humbling phase and era, this journey she should go on. So I'm interested to see what comes of the story and the aftermath of it.
Kaidian?
And that's the thing. I don't want who's not there. Well, I don't want who's not there to come back in the sense to poke at Karen, because it's clear she has something going on that she's numbing for a long time now. And if they're not coming back to be like, hey, this is your issue, you have a problem, are you getting help for this? Holding her accountable versus being like, see, I'm vindicated, or I've been right. The world needs to know this about you, or you always bullied me about this, or you talked about me about that, and now it's your turn. I don't think Karen needs that. And if the network or the production people feel like that's what's gonna fuel viewership, it won't. It won't. The only thing that will fuel viewership is people holding Karen accountable, Karen holding herself accountable, and we've seen her journey to becoming a better person that doesn't make the decision to drink and drive. I do not want to see Charisse or Robin come back with their toxic energy, because when Charisse did come back and she talked about blue eyes and this and that, Karen was active be active before. I don't want to see that. I think we watched it on our HOC where Tamara came at Shannon every chance she got about it, and we saw how smaller and smaller and smaller Shannon got. It didn't help her. It wasn't productive. So keep that off the show. I think who's there now, some of them can even go, but at least have people there who's gonna help her and make her be accountable for her actions, because it's not right.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think any of these girls are going to support Karen in a real tangible way. I think they've been trying to remove the Grand Dame title from her since she got it. They've been actively waiting and participating and angling at her downfall and her takedown season. So I think it's best for Karen to go into season 10 knowing that and coming up and say, hey, I'm the Grand Dame. I'm a human being. I make mistakes. I made a mistake. I'm back better than ever, baby. And she just gonna have to hit the gas on those ladies. None of those ladies are perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, I made a mistake. You're right. Like what Portia told Kenya, if I did have sex with him. I did.
Right.
What's next? Now we have to move on. I was drinking and driving, and I'm sorry about that, and it won't happen again. What's next?
Right.
And I think that's what she should do, honestly. But these girls are not going to have an ounce or inch of sympathy, and if they do, it's not going to be real.
I think that, some of you have already alluded to this. It all depends on the reunion. This is all happening in a very, very, very specific time for someone like Karen, a housewife. The season that you're currently on is currently airing, and you haven't shot your reunion. So this is still going to play out in the show later on, because the reunion still is to come. She's gonna get bombarded at the reunion. You can expect at least Mia to be messy with all of this against Karen. So I don't think that, I do think some girls are not gonna be super on top of her. I don't really see Gizelle coming too crazy for her. I feel like Gizelle has shown some kind of solidarity to Karen this season, and she really doesn't want to see her down. I see Ashley playing into it a little bit with me as well. And I see Wendy just saying that, you were found guilty and you need to appear by your, whatever the court decides, and, the law knows best. But I think this will be interesting for Karen to see who her real friends are, who has her back in this group, and the future of the group. Do I think that Karen should be scared that her position on the show is somehow, in jeopardy because of the situations that are happening? Personally, I don't think so, because some other housewives have done worse things and came back. So,
and I'm happy you said that.
Yeah, because it's no shade. Like, yeah, she was drinking and driving. Shannon was also drinking and driving. We don't know. We never caught Kim Richards drinking and driving, but we know she was. It's no shade.
Oh my God.
It's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know these people that have had crazy paths. There was a little tweet of, like, they have a running archive of all of the Bravo mugshots. So Bravo has a criminal history, no shade. So this is not new to the network. This type of things are not new to.
Can I just say real quick about that graphic that's been going around with the mugshots? I don't like that the Black Housewives mugshots appear more than once, when there are slots for Housewives mugshots that did not appear not even once. I just want to notice that. I saw Nene on the list twice. I saw Portia on the list 3 times. I saw Marlo's mugshot twice. But there are other mugshots of the other girls multiple times that should also be listed if we're going.
Yeah, because I feel like Luann has like 7.
And she wasn't featured as nearly as many times.
Gina, there's so many of them, and I think that's why
the reality rundown is gonna get on top of that.
And that's why I'm glad Wellington brought it up, because this is the time for Bravo to show that they've been paying attention to the conversations that's occurred, especially on Potomac, about the colorism and this and that. It aligns with how certain housewives are held at a certain standard than others. And there's no difference between what Shannon and Karen did, because I see some of the fans on Twitter try to say, oh, this is Karen's second time. Shannon only did this and she took a plea. No, drinking and driving is the same thing regardless of how it ended. It's the same thing. And they both did the same thing. The end.
And I don't want people to forget the grace that they have shown Shannon, and somehow feel like with Karen we have to hold her hands to the fire. And you guys just showed a lot of grace to this woman, so let's not forget that, okay?
Yeah, I think I do think there is just a smidge of difference, and it's only in how both women are handling the situation. It's not, It's like we get past the car accident, right? But what we saw from Shannon was immediate accountability. There was a remorse that was there, where Karen wanted us to wait for the facts to come out, knowing that these are the facts that would come out. You know, and so it kind of plays on the intelligence of not only the fans, but also the women who you have been at war with on the show. And so to think that this would not come out, and whoever was advising you on your legal team that you should go to trial and not take a plea, or that you should not, these are people that should be being held accountable as well, because this is a fall from grace that we're seeing. It's not as though like you aren't the queen bee of the show. You're not a C bypass character. We don't fast forward through your scenes. You are a mainstay on this show. And so I think the way in which she has handled it made some fans feel as if she didn't have any remorse, or if there was her trying to escape accountability. And I think that is where we see the disconnect between her situation and Shannon's situation, that there was just a little bit more accountability as far as like, I know that I did this thing was horrible. Not okay, let's see if the footage is as bad as they're saying it is, when it probably in some cases are worse than we even imagined it to be.
Yeah, I also think there's two sides that kind of mirror each other here, where we saw the rawest part of what happened with Karen and her, I don't want to say barely take accountability, but kind of given the runaround, wait for the facts, do this, do that. And then we don't see what happened with Shannon, except for the picture with her face filled with blood and what John and Alexis might have alluded to, etc. But we do also see her say, I did something wrong, blah, blah, blah. And that's the thing. It's just like you have a mystery of what occurred with Shannon, but you have accountability. And now you, on Karen's side, you barely have accountability and you see everything. Would we change our opinions if we saw Shannon, even though she took accountability? Because there's people who say, I'm so sorry, I did something wrong, and people still don't forgive them. And Karen, that's why I'm saying Karen better show up at that reunion saying, I've let my supporters and people who have held this crown on my head for this long down. I made poor choices and I'm getting myself some help.
Right. Well, like you said, all eyes on the reunion moving forward for the Real Houses of Potomac. But switching over to the other side of the cast, it's a whole other side of drama brewing over with Gizelle and Mia, because Gizelle has been really critical of Mia's handling over her divorce from Gordon and her subsequent relationship with Ink. Gizelle accused Mia of not prioritizing her children during this tumultuous period of her life, highlighting how Mia's public relationship with Ink might be affecting her kids. And I don't think that's far-fetched. In response, Mia made comments about Giselle's daughters, suggesting that they had snuck boys into the house. I couldn't believe we were going here, which Gizelle found to be crossing the line and inappropriate. This was perceived as a retaliation for Giselle's comments about Mia's parenting choices. Gizelle has called Mia's behavior disgusting for bringing up her children, stating on The Breakfast Club that Mia is dead to her because of this. She emphasized that children should be off limits. And I have we have the video of Giselle's statement, and I just want you guys to take a look at her demeanor.
People bring your children into the reality show.
Yeah, no. So the second part, yes, it is disgusting when you talk about children. They didn't sign up for this, and children just off limits. That's like across the board. Children are off limits. So if you want to come for me, come for me. Like, you don't have to bring my children into this. So that for me is a point of no return. You know, like she and I used to be friends off camera, but that's over. And I feel like you do it when you're desperate. You do stuff like that when you're desperate.
When you ain't got no storyline.
When you desperately think that this is going to elevate you. And it didn't really work out that well for her. Nobody's buying into that. Yeah. And she's got enough to worry about. She got a husband, she got a little boyfriend, she don't know the paternity of her child. There's a lot going on for her.
Wow.
Classy Gizelle, she gotta give a read. What's up? Thoughts? Ricky?
I think two things can be true at the same time, but I want to preface this by saying, because I feel like this goes on a lot, don't bring kids into it, or there's a difference between talking about you as a parent and talking about your kids. And I hate when people, like, when I say I think you're a shitty mom and you treat your kids bad, don't talk about my kids. I'm talking about you. Versus you talking about, oh, they were sneaking boys down to the DR. Like, are you okay? Like, it was literally no reason for her to bring that up or bring it into it. Like, it was just very low down and gutter snipe. But what I will say is, when you're in these instances with people, I think the characteristics of people are lateral. And what that means is, like, if they do it to this person and you laugh and you kiki, they're going to eventually do it to you when they don't no longer have another target. Mia was their bestie when she was low down and gutter sniping to Wendy or to Candace or to several other people. And now that those people are out the way, Gizelle's a victim of it, and so on and so forth. But with Gizelle also is, you guys sat around at a table and decided that you guys were going to come on the show and accuse Monique of not knowing the paternity of her child, or saying that her husband wasn't the father of her child, in a concerted effort to, like, get her off the show. So I do think Mia was completely out of pocket. But I also, if I was Gizelle, I wouldn't have saw it for her either. But at the same time, we can't say that Gizelle hasn't participated in the same kinds of antics.
Thomas?
I think there is some validity to what Ricky was stating in the parallels between the handling of Monique's situation after Andy's baby shower, and then, fast forward into this season and her children's behavior is now being brought to the forefront. I think the biggest difference, though, where I will have pushback, is that what was brought to camera, right? And I think that was Giselle's biggest thing, is that, like, I told you this off camera, about me catching my girls or whatever. I caught a boy, what have you, what happened. I didn't say anything happened. I didn't say they had sex. But the implication that these girls are whores for sneaking a boy in is what I have a problem with. It's the implication that something derogatory, negative, sexual was going on, where I have the biggest issue, because these are also young Black girls, private school, going to HBCUs. You're trying to now then have them open up to scrutiny on their campuses. That's where I have a problem at. Whereas versus a conversation that may have happened off camera amongst a bunch of different people, whoever wanted to take it to camera could have done so. Neither of them did that season. We didn't see it really play out outside of the one sit down that Gizelle had with Robin when she had those glasses on and they were sitting at the furniture shop. But this is where Mia clearly took a moment that was happening off camera, wasn't nothing shot for the show. You use that on camera to then try to justify you bringing something up where everything that you've done, and the clear situation Gizelle was talking about was the video you posted to social media about Gordon and about Inc. and about how they're handling the situation with your kids. And I think was in poor taste from Mia Thornton. And I think that she did, to Gizelle's point in that video, try to have a moment that backfired, because fans, from what I've saw across social media, are not happy with her. And that line of questioning of Gizelle's motherhood, that is her one redeeming quality that she does have on this show. And to attack that was in poor taste and poor form. And I would have gotten a second opinion for bringing that to the show, because everybody loves Gizelle as a mother beyond what they think of her as a person, an entrepreneur, a first lady. They know her to be an awesome mother. And I think that was a really big error on Mia's part.
Right. And this is in lieu of Gizelle, graduating 3 young Black girls into colleges. Like, come on. Kaidian, what do you think about this?
I think it's both of what Thomas and Ricky's saying. Mia didn't like what Gizelle hinted towards when she said stuff about the kids. And because Mia's intellect is not all the way here for her to understand the difference, she waited till she could do the same thing back. And she fails to understand that you think you're being raw and open, but you're being confusing. And people are questioning the confusion that they're watching every week on the show. And because you're not there to say, hey, this is exactly what it is. It's up and down, blah, blah, blah. It's one day it's, my kids have a father. The next day they have 4. The next day it's this. They don't get along. they're having shots by the pool. And then you blame it all on Gordon. You don't say nothing of what you do to cause all of this confusion for people to say, because you're sitting there saying, oh, Gordon does this to me, he does that to me, but you don't say how it gets pretty. No, they just see that on social media. So they're like, wait, today you told me it was bad, and then I'm watching something else. I think Mia couldn't wait to be able to stab Gizelle back. And like Ricky said, when you, Gizelle, alluded to other people's children this, children that, and you didn't stop Mia when Mia did stuff to Wendy, when Mia did stuff to Candace, now that it's your turn, now it's like she's disgusting. She's always been like that. There's nothing new about Mia. She's always been like that, and now it's your turn, like Ricky said, and you're more upset because it's your kids. You're not upset because of what Mia said. You're just upset because it's your kids. I completely agree with her being upset, regardless of what I've done. Don't talk about my kids. Right. And I want to see how Gizelle handles Mia, because remember when Wendy questioned or asked Gizelle about her daughter and the safety of her being in Florida, etc. Gizelle was up in flames. Right. I want to see how she handles Mia on the show or at the reunion if it's brought up, if it's the same energy, because this is what she should react to. This is what she should be mad about, because I did not like it either. Why are you speaking on my girls? They're grown women. Even if they were sneaking in a boy, even if they were being whores, whatever the case might be, what's it to you? They were not. They're grown. Right. They're grown. They're over 18 years old, or they're 18 years old. They're grown. They're not kids. They don't need to be supervised. I might not like it because these are still my little girls, but it's not for you to dangle in my face and play with me. I think in that moment, she should have clocked it, checked her. But, we'll see what Gizelle does. We'll see.
I think it's interesting because Mia has also been the person that has said, when her mother was getting some lashings, my mother did not sign up for this. Please, if you have anything to say it about me. Don't say it about her. Sometimes when Ink gets his lashings, she wants to protect Ink by saying that Ink did not sign up for this and that this is her life and not his. Why would you bring people that did not sign up for this into it then? And I think that a lot of housewives need to analyze this when you're practicing your scenes, when you're getting ready before your call time. Think, am I going to be a hypocrite? Because sometimes I feel like you guys are not thinking. No shade. Because one season ago you're crying about something, and the next season you're doing it to the next girl, and to me that makes me look at you crazy. I can't trust you as a human being at this point because you're flip-flopping way too hard. I like someone that can stand 10 toes on their values, someone that can stand 10 toes on who they are, and can show that this is who I am. At least Mia has always been messy through and through. She did respond to what Gizelle said on the Breakfast Club. And she said, meanwhile, she hugged me. Hi, Mama Mia. Then proceeded to sit down with her Rent-A-Man shoulder to shoulder with me at the Love Lagoon. Oh, Kiki, be for real, just hell. You got mad because you got the call. 2, maybe. 3 episodes later, you all of the sudden mad? Girl, bye. Return to the sender. Be careful when you wish death on God's child. That was Mia's response to Giselle's Breakfast Club. Thomas.
I think Mia tried to nibble a little bit with her response. And I particularly the part when don't mention the dead, because she said she was dead to her. I could never give her a 10, but I'll give her her little bit 7. With that. But it's maybe. But I think Gizelle is a person who is a little bit, it takes her a moment, right? And even in the confessional where she says, like, I'm just letting it all, sink in, because once it's all in, I'm going to react. And I think she was kind of trying to, and she alluded to this a little bit on her Breakfast Club interview, was trying to see if Mia was going to take back her words or apologize for what she said, or to realize the weight or the gravity of the situation, and to say, you know what, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to say that. And she alludes to in the Breakfast Club interview, there will be episodes coming where she gives her the opportunity, and then Mia instead doubles down. And I think that's kind of where she was saying that if we're friends off camera, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt to see if you were saying what you, or if you knew that you were saying what you were saying, because we all know Mia's not the brightest bulb in the box, or in Potomac. She doesn't even live in Potomac for that matter. So I think that she was trying to figure out, how do we approach this situation? Let me give you a couple of interactions. I don't think that Love Lagoon was the setting for her to bring that up. I think that was the immediate next group event. And so to think that she should address that there and then be, say like, oh, Mia, let's get into it right then, or to try to make the implication that Gizelle was fake by not addressing her immediately after, I think is a ploy to try to get fans on her side, to make it seem as if like Gizelle isn't going to stand 10 toes behind her daughters. But I think we'll see the realization set in. And again, like I stated earlier, is that she wanted to give Mia the benefit of the doubt, or to see if this is someone who is truly say they're my friend. Let me see if they're going to apologize, or if I bring them to this as a general concern of mine, or that kids are off limits across the board, that we shouldn't be discussing this. I want to see how that plays out, especially given what she said in her Breakfast Club interview. But I think Mia swung for the fence there and she missed. And I want to see Gizelle react. I actually want to see Gizelle react. I think a lot of us do, and especially knowing what we know that got cut and deleted from season 5 reunion. We know that Gizelle can cuss and jump and scream, but we haven't really seen it. And so I think that this might have been maybe an assistant producer up in Mia's ear saying, say this, you got this information, say this, play this, and see if we can get a rise out of Gizelle. People want to see how she is without Robin, or what her demeanor is without.
You know what?
About
now that you mentioned that actually like sparks something in my brain, because I'm surprised that Mia is doubling down on the usage of Giselle's daughters in this mess. Mm-hmm. Like, you would think that the moment they said her daughters are off limits, everybody's checking her, no shade, everybody, and she's still doubling down. Not only on the show, but in current time, as Gizelle is doing interviews on the Breakfast Club, Mia is responding and saying, it is what it is. I said what I said, basically.
But I'm not shocked.
But I think it's interesting that he says that maybe there is production in her ear, because for me, I think Mia is trying to take this to the reunion. This is first chair battle.
I think the reason why, on top of that, also, I think Mia only had her motherhood to make her look somewhat like a decent person. Because remember, the fans haven't been on Mia's side for a while. And when Gizelle alluded to her being a bad example for your kids, she got to find somebody else to be a bad example for their kids, and what they allow and what they don't allow. And right now, I would say Gizelle is like the only one that has kids like that she could do that to. And I was going to say earlier, Gizelle is not that mad with Mia because Gizelle likes Mia. When Gizelle does not like you, she goes for the jugular. She says whatever. She did it to Monique. She did it to Wendy. And I'm waiting for does not
maybe
like Mia for we to see the TT.
Maybe the colorism is playing into a part now, because if she's dead to you, you don't like her. How come she's not receiving the same lashings that you gave other people? All comes into the question. Any final thoughts on Potomac before I move on to our final segment of the night? With that said, we'll leave it there. So moving on, Lord Jesus. When you think the Housewives universe is not, it's just a lot. You have this other world outside of there, and this is reality right after, so we cover everything. And if it's making headlines, we're gonna talk about it. And Love and Marriage Huntsville, honey, stays on top of the headlines with the things that are happening on the show, the things that some of these characters on the show are doing post the show, the lengths that some of these people will go to prove their points. It's a lot going on. The relationship between Martell and Marsau has soared, and it's been one that has been gone up and down in the history of love and marriage for the longest. Marsau openly criticizing Martell's actions. Martell retaliated by accusing Marsau of having multiple affairs. And I think that these affairs have been something that Martell and Melody have alluded to from the beginning. You know, there's always been that tension between Melody and Martell and Marcel and Latisha. Things have gone up and down. Martell cheats on Melody. They get a divorce. They're no longer on speaking terms. They're still, Melody's still hurt that her things were outed, so she's still throwing jabs at Tisha in the sense of like, well, you never figured out what you got going on, and we all know about it, and no one really talks about it, but we all know about it. And this is the thing that has been alluded to, reunion after reunion after reunion. Marcel's mistress, Marcel's cheating to Latisha. And Tisha has always said, listen, if you got proof, show it. If you got the proof, show it. In the current season of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Marcel and Martell get into a screaming match. In this screaming match, things get so heated that Marcel starts to shout names.
His name is Marcel.
Marcel, right?
Marcel. You don't call him different names, Buki.
I was calling him different names?
Marcel. I don't know who you
Marcel. Oh my God. Anyways, Marcel.
I heard Marcel the whole time.
Now I'm like, now you mentioned it. Now I'm like, you can't say that to someone that's fucking bilingual. Anyways, moving on.
I'm like, who the hell did you talk about? It's Marcel.
Yeah.
What is this girl?
I can't take her sometimes.
Oh Lord.
I'm just gonna say he starts to shout the names of men that Martell, teas are good. I'm good on teas. So Martell, the names of the guys that Martell was with. And that was a gag. But however, production cut it. And Latisha got mad at that. Latisha was like, I don't like that. I don't like that y'all be picking favorites. Because, she's like, y'all be airing my stuff out. Why y'all not airing everybody else's stuff out? So, to the point, Latisha went on Carlos King podcast and had a lot to say about the situation.
In Huntsville was that Martell liked boys when he was in college. So he didn't see anything. And if he did see something, he was sneaking in the room, or a hidden tape was somewhere because he didn't see anything. I'm like, why? I just don't understand why he would say that, why he would throw me in the middle of that. And so him and Marcel was going back and forth. Unfortunately, edits didn't show what Marcel said, but they showed what Martell said. So you guys really didn't see or hear everything that Marcel was saying to him, because Marcel was dropping receipts and he was naming guys who Martell has slept with in Huntsville.
Is that okay? We gotta say alleged.
No, it's not alleged. It's not alleged. I mean, Carlos, let me tell you. So you guys have known. You said that I've been quiet. I know a lot more than what I said. And for years, Marcel have been like, no, T, don't do that. No, T, don't do that. And we really, because the word around.
Honey, and just a little refresher. This is Melody Rogers, Marcel's ex-wife, mother of 4 or 5 of his kids. This is Ariane Curry, Marcel's mistress, who he cheated on Melody with. They share 1 child together. And this is Sheree Whitfield. Martell dated her.
Put me on mute.
And this is Sheree Whitfield.
Now how she getting it?
Oh my God. This
Relative is shady boobs.
Oh God. Oh, you did your big one.
And this is Sheree Whitfield.
Oh God.
y'all too much.
As I was doing the slideshow, I remembered because I created it, you know. So I remember. I'm like, wait, Sheree's at the end of this. Anyways, Martell really didn't like what Lord Jesus. That was a cute key. Martell didn't really like what Latisha had to say about him. And there was a lot of radio silence at first, which a lot of people were like, where is Martell? Because people knew, honey, you're gonna Tisha, everybody was on Twitter saying Tisha better get ready because when Martell drops, he's gonna drop fire. And so he did. So Martell, thank you to the Reality Rundown, amazing journalism. Martell claps back at Latisha Scott saying he was when Latisha said he was gay, he interviewed the mistress.
It's your girl, Ariane Curry.
The Scots asked.
And we delivered. Let's get into it.
That was my first time having a dick in my mouth and a dick in my coochie. I didn't know that he had a way. He threatened me. He said, if you tell me like I'm going to come and kill you.
That was the first time with a dick in my mouth and a dick in my... I'm gonna do a separate video where we talk more about this video specifically, because the video came out already, the interview. This woman is claiming, just from the things that I remember from the video, this woman is claiming that she was having sex with Marcel down to the credit one. And she never went to a hotel. They never really went to a dinner outside from the clubs. And he also didn't even pay for her flights sometimes, which is why they got into some beef, because she wanted her money back and he didn't want to pay her because she had to get the flight to go see him because she's from Birmingham. She claims that there was one time that they went to Las Vegas together, and she was in the room with Maurice, which is the brother. And that one night she was having sex with Marcel. And then Maurice jumped into it. A lot of allegations. Logistically, this is, the mess. Oh my God, mess. But logistically, I don't see how this show continues to move forward in a genuine way. Like, it's getting to the point that it's like, I've seen them go dark, but this is getting to the, we're interviewing each other's mistress. We're using homophobia to cancel people somehow. We're like, it's a lot going on. Ricky?
It's just so low budget to me. Like, this is so, Zeus Network, BET Uncut. I feel like it gets to a point. Here's the thing. When Martell was harassing and abusing and revenge P and all that to Melody, at that point, I think Carlos should have stepped in and kind of shifted the show in a way that wouldn't allow it to get this kind of low down in the gutter, right? But I think it was clear for me, and I could be overthinking it, but I think that Carlos developed a friendship with Martell and took a liking to Martell, right? And so I feel like it started to get kind of murky. And then with this, the thing that's bothering me about Love and Marriage and why I stopped watching it is because I don't like to watch this sort of toxicity be like pedestal. Like, this is a lot. Like the way they be fighting and arguing and beating on the kids and cheating and mistresses. It's just too low down. And I think that I'm trying to figure out a polite way to say what I'm trying to say.
Sometimes there is no polite way to say it. No shade.
I guess
say your exact thought.
The thing that bothers me, because I've duked it out with, I have clocked Wellington and Kaidian upside their head in our group chat about this.
Me, I've been on your side.
I think that I can never give you a 10. I can never give you a 10. You know my
you got me confused with Chase.
Yeah, Chase, where you at, Buki? But no, I think that what bothers me is they all stood by and kind of watched Melody duke it out and say he was a terrible husband, he was a cheater, he was doing this and that. And they're like, oh, we don't, we're neutral. We don't see it as that bad. And da-da-da. And as soon as he starts to, I think he's actually
it's 9 o'clock.
I'm sorry. I think he's actually a narcissist and a very abusive person. I'm not saying physically, emotionally, mentally. I don't know. And so it just bothers me that all of the sudden Marcel and Tisha want to come out and say, oh, we did see the revenge porn. You were doing this. You've been cheating. You've been doing this. And they knew the whole time. It just seems so insidious to me. But with Martell, I think, honestly, if I was the producer on that show, he would be off the show. He would have been off the show if it was up to me, because the lows he's willing to go to is just not that of a healthy sound person. And I get we got to make drama for TV and it's the ratings, but I don't know. I watched the whole interview. They got this lady who looks like, I don't know where they pulled her out of, right? And it's just so low down and it didn't prove anything. You still didn't prove anything, So I don't know. What I want to say, I can't say. But all I have to say is it makes me want to do away with the whole franchise, the show. I don't want to watch it. It's just not the type of Black story I'd buy into. It's very much now downtrodden into the Zeuses of the world for me.
Kaidian?
Well, I'll say this. I think Tisha's response is very convenient. When you could have, shared allegedly Martell and his boys and all of this and all of that, you did not. And I think Marceau and Tisha tries to look like a perfect couple in a way in which they're perfect for each other. They're good over there. But we see
the cracks.
What he is. Yeah, the cracks. We see the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like they have beaten down on Melody so much already that they're now beating up on each other. And one thing I do believe is true, allegedly, is that Martell and Marceau have done very, very disturbing things together outside of their marriage with other people, allegedly.
Right.
Well, for Martell, we don't have to say allegedly. He does have a whole side chick and a break baby, whatever, or a baby on the side. But I think Marceau has tried his best to cover it up, and Martell was a good cover for the longest time.
Well,
and
the lady did claim that Marceau used Martell to fund her, by planes, by this, by that, send her money. He was very good at keeping things away from Latisha and making sure that nothing was ever tracked to back to him, to your point.
Yes. And I think Tisha kind of lives in the clouds, even from season 1. She's not all the way there right here ever. And I don't know if that's from his abuse and she's just not where Melody's at, where it's like, I'm not taking this. I know this is what you're doing to me. And I do 100% believe she knows he's cheated on her. I think she's found evidence. But it's because the reason why she's covering all the tracks and helping him hide things and being against Martell is because she's came so hard at Melody. And imagine the woman you have not like felt sorry for or understood is now you.
Mm.
And I want just like Ricky. I've not liked the show since the first season. I thought it was toxic. Unfortunately, I watch it because of reality TV covering these things, blah, blah, blah. But it's reached a place now where we're good. We're really good.
And I think that's a pattern that we've seen. Love and Marriage DC is also at a standstill, not knowing where we're going because things got way too deep over there. Thomas, any thoughts on this Love and Marriage saga?
Yeah, cancel the show, cancel the franchise, cancel the entire thing. I am not a fan of it. I don't watch it. Whether I cover reality TV or not, it is not something in my purview. It's something I'm not going to waste time on. I'm not going to waste energy on. I don't think that they had any redeeming qualities. I think that the show about love and marriage should show ups and downs of marriage, yes, but it should not be about scandal and about drama and about tea and about mess. And I'm not sure I believe the rumors about Martell sleeping with men, but the rumors become more valid when he did that interview. That is a messy gay man thing to do. And if he didn't think that those allegations will follow him, they surely will follow him now, because that is something that is not becoming of a straight man. I've never seen anybody do that before. And so I'm not sure what his angle was with doing that, but I wouldn't have done that. But I also think to Ricky's earlier point about Carlos shut it down. Carlos is so messy. He loves this attention. He loves this extra additional tea that's going towards his show when he's not really doing the character development, the show development that should be happening to take these shows to the next level. He has a gold mine with Love and Marriage DC. There is story there. There are genuine connections there. Someone from the DMV, there's a lot that he could tap into there, but he chose to go the route where you used a popular pre-housewife or ex-housewife to, bring the name of the show up to prominence, and then discarded her in their marriage, then did the same thing to the next person who was helping the show as well, and used her in a bad light and was able to see her differently. And so I think the same thing is happening to the point that that Carlos and Martell had that friendship that Ricky spoke of earlier. You see it in videos, you see it the way in which he looks at him, kind of like the way Andy looks at his guest that he kind of is partial towards. There's a crush that's there, some kind of infatuation that's there that goes beyond employer and employee, and I think it's totally inappropriate. And I think that Carlos King should check himself as a producer to figure out exactly what his end goal is here with this franchise and do some reassessment, because what he did or intended to do in the beginning may be a far cry from where he is now. And we all can do some self-reflection and where we are in our journeys, and I would implore him and anyone affiliated with that program to do so.
and add, not because you don't have to go to the gutter to get ratings. You don't have to go low down and show black people at their
hold on, Kaidian. Ricky, don't yell at me later when your face is like this all over social media. No, because she like to go off on me. I'm like, why you do that?
No,
I'll be like, I'll be like this, and I'm like, take that shit down
every time. But no, I feel like a lot of these shows, the second they crave success, the second they start seeing their breakout stars or fans really paying attention and watching them, all of a sudden it goes. This is not television we need to see.
Where is Oprah? Like, this is where is Oprah at? Like, I know she haven't seen these episodes and cleared them for airing. Like,
the other
what's
day,
going on?
Remember when they used to say OWN was boring?
I think that reality TV, we see it as an art, but some people see it as gutter television. And I think that when some of these people are the head of networks, that's when we get to see stories like this get greenlit, and this is what we focus on. Some people don't see reality TV as an art where you can mirror what we're seeing, what people are living in this country. Some people don't see reality TV as an art that you can change lives through storytelling and through influence. A lot of people feel like the only way that reality TV should exist is if we're either showing fights or we're going all the way down to the gutter. I think that, you know, it's crazy because Love and Marriage Huntsville owns #1 reality TV program. So while it is so messy and so salacious and so wrong to, you know, echo some of the statements tonight, I do find it interesting that with all of that, it's still top level programming that own backs. They just got renewed. They just were praised for being top programming this season. So I do agree the essence of the show has swayed way far from what we first intended, which was a group of Black couples coming together to build infrastructure in Huntsville, Alabama. That was the point of the combat group. Building real estate. Building access for Black people in Huntsville. And somehow we have deviated so far to the point that a producer on the show started dating the boyfriend, the ex of a cast member
that she produced.
This is the person that she was assigned to when she was a producer under Kingdom Reign Entertainment. And when she was done producing her and she found out that they were no longer together, she got with her man. It doesn't end there though. Production brings them onto the show. So now this producer that was once a producer who's dating a cast member's ex is now on the show as a cast member. Where do the lines have been blurred a long time ago.
Yeah.
Where does ethics play a part in this? What's too far? I think that sometimes we get so stuck with following reality and what's really going on and showing everything that, well, where's integrity? What's the point?
I'm sorry, Fiona's dying to say something. She just won't leave me alone.
But yeah, so listen, we'll see how this plays out. Love and Marriage Huntsville is currently airing on the OWN network on Saturday nights. And it's a lot going on. Like Miss Mary said. So let's see what happens. And listen, that is all she wrote. Thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Reality Right After. This is the season finale. 3 seasons. This show started in controversy. And through it all, we've been ups and downs, hiatuses, whatever it is, in studio, virtually.
Whatever happened to those girls?
Whatever it is.
Look at the time.
Whatever it is. I'm proud. This is our 3rd season. It ends today. Next, in 2 weeks, we start a 4th season of more coverage, of more news, of more headlines, of more guests, of more interviews. I am blessed to have come across you guys. Thank you so much for all that you pour into this, for your takes, your analysis. That's why I enjoy talking to you guys so much, because you guys see reality television the way I see it, and there's a depth to it, and there's more to it than just messiness on our television. So I just wanted to say thank you. This is the season finale. To our EP, thank you for producing an amazing season all year. It's been amazing. I am so happy with how everything came out.
Great.
And yeah, I'm excited for next season. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you guys are subscribed to our channel on the Reality Rundown on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, make sure you hit that follow button and give us 5 stars, honey. We deserve only 5 stars, only 10s. Okay. We'll see you next season. Bye.